Today we are grilling a whole chicken. It's smoky, juicy, crispy, everything you want the chicken to be. Let's start by spatchcocking our bird. Normally I separate the legs and the breasts, but on the grill a flat shape is very beneficial because it puts all the skin in contact with the grate. The easiest way to remove the spine is to cut through the skin with a knife and then use the kitchen shears to cut through the bones. Check for leftover organ meat around the thighs and remove it. Also, remove the chunks of fat around the cavity. I'm a strong believer in salting the breast meat under the skin. This results in tremendously better salt penetration, which keeps the breast tender and juicy. Gently wiggle your fingers under the skin, starting from the neck end and starting from the cavity end. Around the neck area, you'll find chunks of fat. Removing them will result in thinner, crisper skin and will reduce flare-ups. I don't always remove the wishbone, but in this case I think it's worth the trouble because it will help me flatten out the breast. Normally I do all this with the chicken facing me, but now I'm trying to do it with the chicken facing the camera, which is a little awkward. If your wishbone is stuck, check that you cut through the spot way back here. Okay, here we go. We have a cleaned up chicken. To get the salt under the breast skin, I set the chicken up, open up the skin and pour in the salt. Then reach in and spread it really well. Contrary to popular belief, salting in advance requires more salt than salting right before cooking. When you salt in advance, salt penetrates through the meat and there isn't as much of it on the surface as if you salt it right before cooking. The internal salt helps us achieve better texture and higher moisture, but it won't give us as much salty taste as the salt on the surface. So if you're salting in advance, it helps to be generous. The salt I'm using is Diamond Crystal Kosher. For all other salt types, you'd need a smaller volume. Salt very lightly over the skin, over the breast, and salt the wings, legs, and the back of the thighs. I don't bother getting under the skin of the legs. Most of the juiciness in the legs comes from fat and gelatin. They taste juicy even when cooked to a very high temperature. It's the breasts that need as much salt penetration as possible. Of course, no grilling recipe in my kitchen is complete without my favorite glaze. It boosts every single one of the 5 tastes: salty, sweet, sour, bitter, and umami. And the aroma of garlic and za'atar herb mix paired with the chicken is irresistible. Amino acids in soy sauce and fructose and pomegranate molasses speed up both the Maillard reaction and caramelization, so we'll get fantastic brownie. But if you don't have pomegranate molasses, feel free to replace with half a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar and half a teaspoon of honey. The procedure is just like making a salad dressing. Mix everything but oil and then slowly add the oil while whisking. Or put everything into a squeeze bottle and shake. And of course, don't forget to re-whisk or re-shake right before using. Smear this glaze all over the chicken on the skin side and on the cavity side. You only need a thin layer, so if you have leftover glaze, store it in the fridge for another grilling project. Wrap the chicken and put it in the fridge overnight to allow the salt to do its magic. If you don't want the chicken to stick to the grate during grilling or to taste like a dirty fireplace, it is very important to get the grill very hot and very clean. Place a piece of foil on the middle of the grill and turn all burners on high. The foil traps the heat and makes that spot extra hot. Just don't cover the entire grate with foil to allow for good air circulation. Run the grill for at least 15 minutes before cooking to give it a thorough preheat. This will allow all the debris on the grate and inside the grill to burn off. Dry the chicken very thoroughly with paper towels. Surface moisture will slow down browning and result in sticking, so be diligent. It's okay to remove all the glaze. I applied it the night before to give it a chance to absorb into the surface. Putting it on right before grilling made the breast stick to the grate, so I much prefer this method. Oil the skin very lightly before grilling. Too much oil could encourage flare-ups, so don't use more than a teaspoon. Remove the foil and brush the grill thoroughly. Oil a paper towel and brush the grill grate 8 times. This creates a layer of polymerized fat on the grates and reduces sticking. It's just like seasoning cast iron. The only difference is that the grill loses its seasoning after each cooking session. Only oil the spot where you plan to grill. No need to waste your energy on the whole grill. I like to cover the grill for about a minute to let the oil to harden before oiling some more. Place the chicken on the grill skin side down. Cover the grill and cook for about 15 minutes. During this time, you need to pay close attention to flare-ups. If you see smoke, take a quick peek without opening the lid completely. If you see flare-ups, reduce the heat for the burner under the chicken. The outer burners should stay on high the whole cooking time. On some grills, you might need to turn off the center burner entirely. If you don't get any flare-ups, regulate the heat of the center burner so that the chicken is browning but not burning. You want the skin side to take at least 15 minutes to brown. On most grills, this means dropping the heat to about medium after the first 5 minutes. When the chicken is brown, grab it by the legs and very slowly lift it up. Go slow. It's a shame to rip this gorgeous skin. I like to rotate the chicken slightly to get more grill marks. Let's give it a couple of minutes in this position. I think we're ready to flip. Once your chicken is skin side up, it won't be as prone to flare-ups. Turn the burner under the chicken back up to high heat and watch it carefully. If you get flare-ups, turn it back down until you find a setting that your grill can tolerate. If you are still on high after 5 minutes, turn down the center burner to medium. I start testing after 30 minutes of cooking. We are only at 150 and we need at least 170 in the legs. I like to flip the chicken back onto the skin side towards the end of cooking to give it a little extra crispness. Okay, we are there. We are around 170 in the legs and around 135 in the breasts. The rest of the cooking needs to happen on a plate off the grill. While the chicken sits at room temperature for about 15 minutes, the outer parts of the breast will cook the inner parts. Leave a thermometer in the coolest part of the breast and check it every 5 minutes. Once you reach 146, set a timer for 8 minutes. Here are the temperatures and hold times necessary for a safe chicken breast. While the chicken is resting, let me remind you that if you want to know when I post new videos, join my Patreon community for free. Today I'm serving the chicken with tomatoes, basil, mint, red onions, and balsamic vinegar. After 15 minutes, the breast went all the way up to 151. Here's the texture of the legs. They are completely tender, not quite shreddable, but close. Legs are so versatile, any temperature from 170 to 190 works. But I judge my chickens not by the legs, but by the breasts. And this one is lovely. If you want to know why the temperature of the chicken breasts went up way more than the temperature of the chicken legs, check out my video on residual heat in the description below. Here are more very detailed culinary tutorials for you to check out. And if you are ever in the Boston area, maybe I'll see you in one of my classes.